The 2015 NHL draft has proven to be one of the deepest drafts we've seen in NHL history. We have seen so much elite talent come out of it. Sebastian Aho, who's arguably among the top forwards in the NHL, who was drafted in the second round. But he wasn't only just drafted in the second round, he was a player who also made an immediate impact after the draft, again as a second round talent. But it wasn't just deep, it also contained some of the best NHL talent we've ever seen. Connor McDavid, our Lord and Savior, was the headliner of this draft, but it doesn't just stop there. Elite talent dispersed throughout this draft, which will make a very interesting redraft now that we're 5 seasons out of this draft. In today's video, we're going to be redrafting the entire first round of the 2015 NHL draft. In the previous videos, I stopped at 15, but I definitely feel as if there was enough time for players to prove themselves to do all 30 teams. So with that being said, this video is definitely going to be a bit more fast-paced than my previous redrafts. I decided my rankings based off production. How well has this player been able to translate their production into the NHL? Upside, does this player have the characteristics and skill traits to have the potential to be more? This one may sound a bit weird, but given our current market demand, positional needs are becoming way more of a thing rather than just, raw talent. Progression, has this player been displaying, good progress and development throughout his career? And to preface this video, of course, these rankings are in no means set in stone. Throughout the next 5-10 years, we're going to see these rankings drastically fluctuate as more talent translates into the NHL, or we see players have their big breakout seasons. So comment down below what your 2015 NHL redraft would look like. At number 30, the Arizona Coyotes select Adam Gaudette. Gaudette was originally the 149th pick within this draft, a 5th round pick. 14 points in 23 games so far this season, and we are seeing some great progression out of Gaudette. The Hockey God took home the Hobey Baker Award in 2018, which is definitely a great feat. And this season, he's been showing great strides of progression. I do feel as if Gaudette has the upside to be higher on this list, but we haven't seen as much consistency out of Gaudette as we may have seen from some other players here. So number 30 for Gaudette. At number 29, the Blue Jackets select Mackenzie Blackwood. Blackwood has kind of been thrown under the bus this season for the New Jersey Devils, taking on a big role this season. However, he has been displaying qualities of a starting goaltender. Great athleticism and good numbers when you consider he's on the New Jersey Devils, who are just not very good this season. 2.85 goals against average and .908 save percentage. I do feel like Blackwood would blossom if he was playing behind a true number 1 goaltender where he had more of a sheltered position on his team. But even under circumstances, he has still definitely been impressing. Pick number 28, the Islanders draft Connor Garland. Garland was originally the 123rd pick from this draft, so another big jump. He was a prolific scorer in the QMJHL, and he's been really starting to show some good progress and some good consistency in his goal scoring ability. He's a potential 25 goal guy. He has 12 goals, 17 points this season in 35 games. And a lot of analysts were concerned with his size. Since the draft, though, he has gotten bigger. I think he's sitting at around 5'10". And considering the game is definitely heading towards, more skating and skill, it hasn't proven to be as detrimental as many critics thought it was. At number 27, the Anaheim Ducks select Jordan Greenway. Greenway is a very intriguing player. Coming in at 6'6", combined with a good tool set, Greenway has the potential to be like a Mantha type player. He has very good athleticism and size that very few can compete with. 12 points in 31 games this season, which is definitely good progression from the 24 points in 81 games last season. He's getting more responsibility with the Wild as the team is getting better as a whole, as they're definitely shocking a lot of critics this season. At number 26, we have the Montreal Canadiens, and I have them selecting Pavel Zacha, who was actually originally the 6th overall pick in this draft. Now, Zacha definitely still has good power forward upside. However, he hasn't been fully able to translate his game. Now, he has been displaying more consistency, and being on a rebuilding team definitely just does not help. But he has 13 points in 29 games this season, and he's coming off his best season where he put up 25 points in 61 games. At number 25, we have the Winnipeg Jets, and I have them selecting Travis Dermott. Now, Dermott displays the upside of being a solid top 4 defenseman. I mean, he's already a player that can fit within the top 4. Only 5 points in 21 games this season, but Dermott is playing a lesser role coming off a big shoulder surgery. He has good tangibles, quickness, skating, hands, and hopefully this, shoulder injury doesn't become a lingering issue in his career. At number 24, we have the Philadelphia Flyers, and I have them selecting Colin White. Now, White has been struggling this season. 7 points in 26 games, which is definitely a steep drop off to his 41 points in 71 games from the previous year. Now, White still definitely has a good potential to be a great top 6 forward, but considering how deep this draft class is, his drop-off has definitely shifted him down the rankings. At number 23 with the Vancouver Canucks, and I had them selecting Brandon Carlo. Now Carlo is a large right-handed defenseman who can play a very physical game, and he's really been progressing his overall game. 10 points in 34 games this season, and he has the upside of being a very good shutdown defenseman. At number 22, we have the Washington Capitals, and I have them selecting Vince Dunn. Now, Vince Dunn is definitely a very underrated defenseman. Only 8 points in 34 games this season, but he displays the upside of being a very good top four defenseman who has good offensive capabilities. He's coming off a huge year. Obviously, he won a Stanley Cup last year with the Blues, where he put up 35 points in the regular season, and he was a major contributor in the playoffs, putting up 8 points in 20 games. At number 21, we have the Ottawa Senators, and I have them selecting Lawson Kraus. Lawson Kraus is trying to develop the mold of a modern day power forward, which is definitely a very rare player trait in today's game. Well, a real power forward that can put up goals. The only one that we consider today that is a true power forward is a guy like Tom Wilson. So some people may be surprised that he's this high, but I do still believe there's a lot of value in a modern day power forward. And again, if you take a look at Tom Wilson's progression and development as a player, it took him years to develop into the player he is today. And Lawson Kraus definitely could end up being a guy like that who could put up 20 goals and just lay the body. At number 20, the Minnesota Wild draft Roope Hintz. Now, Hintz has displaying some great offensive flashes this season, highlight reel goals, and just really positive development. 12 goals, 15 points in 27 games this season. His combination of size and skating make the opposition have a really hard time to contain him. He has the upside of a very solid top 6 goal scorer, and his progression this season has been looking very promising. At number 19, the Detroit Red Wings select Anthony Beauvillier. Beauvillier had a down year last season, but he has rebounded very well this season. He's definitely capable of putting up 20-25 goals in a good top 6 role, and he has some good dynamic upside. 21 points in 30 games on a very defensive-minded team this season. He's looking very good. At number 18, the Ottawa Senators select Anthony Cirelli. Good defensive game, and funny enough, he actually finished 11th in the entire NHL in Selke voting last season. Consistent point production, 21 points in 30 games this season, but he's been earning much more responsibility on a deep team, and he has good offensive upside with a 200-foot game. At number 17, the Winnipeg Jets select Ilya Samsonov. Now, Samsonov has the potential to be a franchise goaltender. Throughout his career, he's been a rock in net, and he's been playing really well in more of a sheltered role with the Washington Capitals this season. 11 games played, a 2.38 goals against average, and a .918 save percentage. Now, Samsonov definitely does have the potential to be a lot higher on this list, but I'm always a bit hesitant to rate goalies higher until they've had more games under their belts. At number 16, we have the New York Islanders, and I have them selecting Jake DeBrusk. I'm a big fan of DeBrusk. Gritty but offensively capable goal scorer. 27 goals last season, 16 points in 29 games this season. DeBrusk will continue to get pushed down the lineup so long as guys like Pastrnak, Marchand, and Bergeron are still within the lineup. But DeBrusk has already proven to be a very solid top 6 goal scorer. At number 15, the Boston Bruins select Noah Hannifin. The Bruins in this draft had a crazy just 3 first-round picks in a row in a very deep draft. Now, this could have ended up way different. Could you imagine if the Boston Bruins had guys like, Barzal, Boeser, Chabot on their team? That would just be insane. And all those players were supposed to go in that range, and the Boston Bruins decided to go off the board on every pick. Noah Hannifin's game has trended a bit downward this season with 8 points in 35 games, and his defensive game hasn't been as strong as last year, but he still definitely has the potential to be that complete two-way defenseman with some good offensive upside. With the number 14 pick, the Boston Bruins select Timo Meyer. Meyer took great strides last season with 30 goals, 66 points, and 78 games. However, the San Jose Sharks have not been themselves this season, and Meyer's production has really regressed in a year he should have exploded. And losing a guy like Pavelski definitely doesn't help. 22 points in 35 games this season, but Timo Meyer still definitely has the potential to be that 35-plus goal scorer guy, which really goes to show how deep this draft is. At number 13, the Boston Bruins select again, and they draft Dylan Strome. Dylan Strome is a very interesting case. He still has that upside to be that number 1 centerman, but his development has both been concerning and very, just sporadic. And don't get me wrong, if Strome keeps showing strong development, he may end up earning his way within the top 10 one day. 22 points in 29 games this season, and a very impressive 51 points in 58 games last season. And after a season like last year, it seems a bit wrong not ranking him higher, but again, his progression hasn't been as linear and as predictable as other prospects on this list, or players. At number 12, the Dallas Stars select Travis Konecny. Now, unfortunately, Konecny sustained a concussion after being an integral part to the Flyers this season. In the previous 2 years, Konecny nearly had back-to-back 25-goal seasons, and he started this season off very hot, 28 points in 30 games, and Konecny has been very consistent throughout his career and has shown a very good development curve to being a first-line winger. At number 11, the Florida Panthers select Kyle Connor. Now, Kyle Connor went from being the Hobie Baker Award to having a smooth transition into the NHL. In fact, he's coming off back-to-back 30-goal seasons, and he's on track for his third straight. And Connor has proven himself to be a number 1 winger. At number 10, the Colorado Avalanche select Ivan Provorov. Provorov has been displaying growth and development as a complete defenseman who has dynamic offensive upside. 19 points in 32 games this season, highlight reel flashes, and after a down year last season, Provorov is proving to be the real deal. At number 9, the San Jose Sharks draft Zach Werenski. Werenski has definitely been the most consistent defenseman in this whole entire draft class. His rookie campaign was very memorable, putting up 47 points in 78 games, and his overall game has continued to develop into a high-end defenseman. 16 points in 26 games this season on a Columbus Blue Jackets team who lost all their core pieces. At number 8, the Columbus Blue Jackets select Brock Boeser. Boeser has one of the best releases in this entire draft. In fact, Boeser is actually second in the whole entire draft in goals per game production, only behind McDavid. Because of injuries, Boeser has yet to break the 30-goal mark, but Boeser has potential to be that 40-plus goal scorer and has just shown brilliance on this young, exciting Canucks roster. At number 7, the Philadelphia Flyers select Thomas Chabot. Chabot has the toolset to be a potential top defenseman in the NHL. Offensively gifted, vision, hockey IQ, and defensively responsible. And alongside of a guy like Brady Tkachuk, he is truly leading this young Ottawa Senators team into the future. 21 points and 33 games on a Senators team that is missing everything. At number 6, the New Jersey Devils select Matt Barzal. 85 points in his rookie campaign to win him the Calder. Elite skating, vision, and playmaking ability. Matt Barzal is the number 1 centerman who's a part of this extremely impressive New York Islanders squad. Funny enough, Barzal also ranked 18th in Selke voting last season, and people don't tend to comment on his defensive game. At number 5, we have the Carolina Hurricanes, and I have them selecting Mitch Marner. Now, Mitch Marner is an offensively gifted winger who has top-end playmaking ability in the entire NHL. 94 points last season playing alongside of John Tavares, and he's a franchise winger for the Toronto Maple Leafs who will continue to be that dominant force. At number 4, the Toronto Maple Leafs draft Mikko Rantanen. Mikko Rantanen and Mitch Marner have proven to be top wingers in the entire NHL. And Rantanen is a powerful, offensively gifted winger who's proved to be a match made in heaven for a guy like Nathan MacKinnon. 21 points in 16 games this season, 87 points in 74 games last season, and Rantanen is definitely someone who is capable of breaking that 100-point mark on a regular basis. At number 3, the Arizona Coyotes draft Sebastian Aho. Sebastian Aho was a second-round pick. How did so many scouts just miss out on this talent? He's an absolute gem. 83 points last season for Sebastian Aho in 30 and 33 games this season. Now, I do have Aho ahead of guys like Rantanen and Marner, which some of you may question, but I believe his value as a number 1 centerman who can put up over point per game on a not a strong team as a team like, I guess, McKinnon or a John Tavares or a, Austin Matthews squad. He's been a major contributor to the Hurricanes' success, and he will continue to grow and dominate alongside of new companion Andrei Svechnikov. Now here we are, and this should be just no surprise. At number 2, the Buffalo Sabres choose Jack Eichel, a franchise centerman who has been dominating this season, who has been demonstrating very good progression. An extremely impressive 48 points in 34 games this season, and we're finally seeing that explosive breakout from Eichel. If Eichel had been in any other draft outside of this year, he would have probably been the consensus number 1 pick. And his coming out party this season has pushed the Sabres in the right direction, as they finally might make the playoffs in nearly a decade. And finally, here we are with the number 1 pick. The Edmonton Oilers select Zach Bogosian. Connor McDavid. Connor McDavid is just on an entirely different level. He is just truly a generational talent. I mean, I just don't have enough great things to say about McDavid. I think we all know how special he is as a player. Arguably the most explosive player in NHL history with the best vision and hockey IQ, again, arguably we've seen in NHL history. And at the age of only 22, it may not seem like it, but these guys are only 22. McDavid has already established himself among the greatest talents in NHL history. McDavid has 429 points in 322 career games, which is just insane. This season, through 35 games, McDavid has 57 points, on pace for over 130 points, and I don't see why he won't hit at least 125 points. But anyways guys, there is my 2015 NHL redraft. Definitely comment down below what yours would look like. And again guys, if you guys are upset with some of my placements, do realize, of course, these rankings are not set in stone. They're going to change as the years go on. But anyways guys, thank you guys so much for watching. I really appreciate all the support on these redrafts. This one's going to take me so long to edit. You guys don't even realize. So hopefully you enjoy it. But anyways guys, thank you guys so much for watching. See you guys later.